he just put out that chapter about Sansa.
Thank you for the reminder. I wanted to talk about
which
that.
is it, and again.
Did you read it?
I did read it, yeah, earlier today. And yeah, so this is a preview from the 6th book, where Sansa is sort of in the same place, but also not. There are other elements. And so it was kind of cool, especially because the show's about to come back, to kind of get that reminder of, okay, well, in the books, this is what's happening with her. And the show, to be honest, because it is a sort of theatrical TV thing to do, laid it on more thick with the transformation. I mean, she came out wearing black with dark hair. The book is being more subtle about that, and yet it was still kind of interesting to get into that mindset of her, And so, again, we're assuming you've read that chapter. This will be the last thing I guess we'll talk about,
So that chapter, I think one of the things that's interesting about that chapter is why he chose to release it now, which I think there must be a reason, because she is in a different place than where she looks to be in the if you've seen the teaser trailer. She's just not in she's at Winterfell, so like, so we'll find out. But I think that what he wanted to do by releasing that chapter, because I mean they're talking to each other, is remind you of a certain mindset and remind you of her relationship with Littlefinger and what that's all about. And I think that will pay off as we watch the show this season.
And it does, kind of going back to what we were talking about the possibilities for her on the show, but it also goes back to the fact that she is now sort of playing things, manipulating things in a different way, because it's her kind of has the eye on the prize, and this guy that she's like, okay, I'm going to make this happen to become royalty again, because she's got this fake identity. And that by the end of that chapter, it's like, oh, well, this isn't going to work, but don't worry, I got this. She's almost like the fact that both as manipulation, sort of, there is the whole like coming into her sexuality, and like Littlefinger almost being like, you know what to do. When she's still kind of being like, I don't know how to do it. And he's like, no, you do. And then she kind of does. And like the flirting thing, and like, sort of, seeing what she can do and finding the right almost target in the long game of kind of ascending it back up again.
Absolutely, and she's even in a more vulnerable position to ascend, because it's not her own identity. They don't know
she's not supposed to be anyone important.
She's supposed to be a bastard, so the guy is like, I'm not messing with you. And she's like, oh, you're gonna want to. You're
I'll make you
want to mess with me.
But then I'm like, no,
I thought it was great, because it is those two things together. It is the fact that she's essentially being raised. I mean, he's playing the role of her father. Littlefinger now.
Totally messed up relationship.
Which, could you such a messed up relationship. But you can imagine the kinds of values that he would instill.
I have to totally admit, I was reading the chapter waiting for a reveal that they were sleeping together already. I was like, because it seems like it could go there any moment.
It could easily go there, and you have to remember too, like in the books, they're so much younger. So like his impact on her is going to be even that much more profound because she's young. And this is who's training her and raising her, and she's. I mean, think of how much she suffered and endured. So of course she wants these survival skills. But also, you're right. She is a young, very pretty girl that's learning how to play with that. And so those two things combined make for a very dangerous woman.
It is.
And I'm excited to see that unfold further on both the show and the book, because, Sophie Turner is pretty easy on the eyes. And if she wants to
not an ugly girl.
Not an unattractive woman, young lady. But so she wants to use those same tools, she can also do that on the show. We can see that.